Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Donald Trump has waged an all-out assault on union clean energy jobs. In Massachusetts alone, 17 projects, $8.6 billion of investment, and almost 17,000 clean energy jobs have been axed or stalled in just 9 months. And because of Donald Trump's attacks, from canceling permits to repealing the Inflation Reduction Act tax credits, union workers are seeing job offers evaporate and work sites shutter. A port development project in Salem with hundreds of union jobs under a project labor agreement axed. A cable manufacturing plant in Somerset that would have created hundreds of union jobs axed. 3,000 good jobs from the Solar for All program that Trump cut, axed. The offshore wind projects up and down the Massachusetts coast, which were going to have thousands of union workers, putting those workers out there in a new industry, they're all in the crosshairs to be axed. So far, we have lost nationwide 158,000 clean energy jobs in just 9 months. That is an economic record. Look at that destruction. That's the most destruction that anyone's ever taken to one industry, such a brief period of time. That's Trump's record. Union building trades workers are starting to see the unemployment rolls for the first time in over a decade. And it's a shameful situation, and Trump's attacks will have a chilling effect on new projects for years to come. Union apprenticeships actually require high-quality education programming, but they also required mentored on-the-job experience. And with Trump and Republicans shuttering these work sites, apprentices cannot train. So, General President Booker, how are President Trump's attacks on clean energy sector affecting your workers, including your apprentices?
It's, it's the chaos, it's the uncertainty, it's the inability to recruit new members into it, it's the inability to have our current members who are in the system not be able to graduate the system because they don't have a job to go to. They're going to finish their current job, they're not going to have their next job. So it's just this chaos and uncertainty is, it's creating an environment where it's going to be very hard to bring people back into the construction industry at a time where we should be bringing people into registered apprenticeship and in the construction industry.
General President Downey, could you add your perspective to this situation as it's unfolding?
No, I would echo the same sentiments from President Booker. The one other piece I guess I would add would be that we put a lot of time, energy, effort, and resources into training to do this offshore wind work, and that all just came to a screeching halt. And so now we have a bunch of members with a bunch of credentialing that we don't know if we're going to be able to put back to work in the future.
Thank you. President Booker, LIUNA runs a world-class apprenticeship program that includes training on asbestos abatement. Many old buildings were constructed and renovated when asbestos-laden products were industry standard, including the White House. Are you aware of any permits or other indications that the White House, that President Trump, took any of the appropriate safety steps when Trump demolished the East Wing of the White House to protect against asbestos exposure?
I'm not aware of anything that they would have done to protect.
So the White House could have exposed workers and passersby to deadly asbestos. Is that your view?
They could have, and I can tell you, had it been a union workforce, we would have access to that. This administration chose to use a non-union workforce to go do that on a union project. One of the first things we teach in our apprenticeship is to have your brother or your sister's back. And if you see something, you say something. If something's unsafe, you can stop that work. This isn't a union job site, so we have no access to it, so I don't know what's going on out there.
No, thank you. And those safety standards, they exist for a reason. It's to protect workers. It's to protect innocent people who may be nearby, even working in the White House, from exposure to asbestos. And those standards just don't disappear on the whim of President Trump. They're there because of all the lessons we learned, especially because of asbestos workers who died at unbelievably high levels before we actually put protections in place. And that's why I wrote to the contractor who tore down the East Wing to demand answers on whether and why workers were put at risk for Trump's big donor ballroom. It's just another example of how Trump is the most anti-union president, anti-safety president in history. And that is something that absolutely we have to get to the bottom of. I've received no answers yet in terms of any asbestos protections, any other safety protections that were put in order to ensure that workers were not unnecessarily exposed to health endangering situations. So I thank both of you for